Greetings, greetings, greetings. You're now tuned in to 13signsastrology.com. Que pasa? What's happening? Namaste. How y'all doing today? My name is Ram Hotep L, and I'll be your master of ceremony. On this particular episode, I want to talk about something that I should have been talked about. You found 13signsastrology.com on YouTube. You've been listening to Ram Hotep L. You may have been listening to other presenters and speakers on metaphysics. And when you first kind of saw this information, you may have thought it was kind of crazy when you first saw the titles of the videos, and you started listening to maybe some of the information. It sounds a little far out, and you're like, man, this shit is crazy as fuck right here. But then you decide to go ahead and listen to it on a deeper level. You decide to give it a second ear or a second hearing. See, a first hearing is just when you listen to something with the preconditioned ear that your friends and your family and people like that have programmed you to listen to things on that level. So you have that particular ear that you listen to this information in, and then you got the right ear, or the ear that reasons. So the first time you listen to it, you may have been listening to it from the preconditioned ear. Second time, you give it a second hearing. And you give the second hearing, and it allows you to reason and to rationalize and to come up with your own conclusions based upon listening to this information. So you decide this information isn't so crazy. Maybe some of the stuff that's being talked about is something that I need to apply to my life. Maybe, if I applied some of this information, maybe I would be a happier person. Maybe I would be a more happy-go-lucky person. So you decide to start applying some of this information. And you're new to it, so you really don't know how to really apply. You like applying whatever I say. Maybe something I said on a video, or maybe something somebody else said. You may pick up a ritual here and there, or just a meditation here and there, or just even a book here and there. You may apply some of the stuff you read from the book, and you're like, am I crazy for really believing in this information? Or am I on to something? Is this benefiting me? Am I just confused and going through a change and growing up, and this just information that's just came my way, so I'm just trying to apply this now because it's cool, and it's and I feel like it's cool and the right thing to do? Or is this really something that can really benefit me? So you start asking yourself these questions. You get to talking to your family and friends, and they like, honestly, I think you're kind of losing it. Honestly, I think some of the stuff that you are listening to, and some of the stuff that you even are now starting to base your life on, this is your family talking now. They're like, honestly, Dick or Jane or John, I think you're losing it. I think you need to come back, get your head out the clouds, come back down to reality, get your feet on solid ground, and start listening to some more grounded information. Hell, why even listen to metaphysics and Ram Hotep L and 13 Signs Astrology? You could just go to the movie theaters and do that. But then you think in the back of your mind, but every time I go to the movies, I don't really understand the movies. And then when I started listening to metaphysics, I started maybe listening to Ram Hotep or different other people, I started to be able to understand some of the movies a lot more now, because I understand the metaphysics behind things. You start to see what they would call the elephant in the video, or the elephant in the room, that nobody else sees but you see it. You start to your third eye's open. That's what's happening. So most people in this world, their third eyes are open. So now you got this problem on your hands, because your friends, your family, everybody's starting to think you crazy. And every day you wake up, it seems like you losing somebody. So the question came through my email: what do I do? How do I study this information if my friends think I'm crazy? If my family thinks I'm crazy? How do I apply this information? How can I get them into this information? Now, I've done videos like before where I kind of stress to you guys how you can't force this information on people, so I'm not really going that route. The point that I'm making here now is that you have to realize that this information is new. This is Aquarian information, and you have to keep in mind we are not in the age of Aquarius. Like what I teach in metaphysics, this is Aquarian information. That's why a lot of it, you may never have heard of it. Some people say it resonates with them. They've heard all of it before. It's nothing really new to them. But even though you may know these things and it's nothing new to you, you really don't see the change in your life that you really want to see, or you just don't really see how it really applies to your day-to-day life. So it's really not information that's applicable and it's not useful. So what do you do when, I guess the question comes up, what do you do when your friends and family thinks you're crazy? Do you stop studying this information, or do you continue to study? To answer that question, I would have to say this. As I always say, this information is not a religion. This is not something that you force upon a person. This is not information that everybody in the world must have. You got to remember that. That's the first thing you got to remember. This is not, and I repeat, this is not information that everyone in the world must have. It's for a select group of people. It's for the elite, or the elect, as they call it in the Bible. It's for the chosen ones. It's for the ones that were sent here with a special mission. It's for those people that it's programmed and coded into their natal chart to accept this type of information. So that's the first thing you have to realize. And in that, you know that this is new information, so you know people are going to call you crazy, or people are going to judge you, and you know, things of that nature. But let me tell you something else though. Very important point here. People judged Elvis Presley. People judged Bob Marley. People judge Miley Cyrus. People judge Drake. All of these people are judged, right? But what makes one successful is one who accepts the fact that they're being judged, but in the midst of them being judged, they convert over the one that's passing judgment on them. See, the one that's passing judgment on you is going to be the one that really is going to be your best supporter, actually. The one that's like, man, I don't agree with what you're doing. You need to get off of this YouTube thing and stop talking about this stuff, or you need to stop reading that book, that solar biology stuff you've been reading, or you need to start reading, you need to start listening to Dr. Phil Valentine. You need to stop that, because that man 50-something years old and he sound crazy talking about that shit. I don't care how much science he's trying to put with it. It's spookism. You need to go back to church. You need to go back, you need to go back to the synagogue. You need to go back to the temple. You need to get your head out of this information. You're going to have that person that's going to do that and it's going to say that. But you have to remember, it's not your job to prove to them that you're not crazy. It's not your job to prove to them that you're not crazy. It's your job to actually, this is going to sound wild right here. It's actually your job to prove to them that you can have a better and more fruitful life and a more colorful, vibrant, flavorful life by applying this information. As crazy as it may sound and as radical as it may sound, your life, your job is to prove to them that your life is better than theirs. You're going to say, well, that ain't right, because then now you're trying to make yourself over them. You're trying to make yourself better. You're trying to make yourself like you somebody important because you're saying your life is better than theirs. That's not cool, Ramhotep. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say your life is better than others. No, you have to. When you embrace this type of information, listen here, you have to live like that. You have to prove points to people and show them and show and prove to them that your life is better than what it was before you start studying this information, and that where theirs is at. Because the reason why your life should be better is because this information is better. It's a step, it's a degree above any type of information that's out there, because astrology, what makes it so beautiful is that it's the most unbiased, non-racist, non-sexist, non-classist information that there fucking is out there. You could be filthy fucking rich and you start studying astrology, and you're going to see your impediments. You're going to see your impediments as a rich person. You're going to see your shortcomings as a rich person. You could be dirt ass poor. You start studying astrology and you're going to see your strengths. Even though you're poor, you're going to see all your strengths. So this is the most unbiased, unracist information there is out there. So in that, this makes this information a step above all the other information out there. Why? Because this information relates to, this astrology information, when you understand it fully, relates to anything, any person, or any place out there. Again, I will say that one more time. This astrological information corresponds and relates to any person, place, or thing out there. It's the only information like that. So when you study this information, it's your job to make sure that you prove to these people that your life is better. You don't have to prove to them that you're not crazy or not crazy, or you're sane or you're not sane. You just have to prove to them that your life is better. Better than theirs and better than where it was at. Why? Because people are attracted to crazy things. See, Kevin Hart to a lot of motherfuckers is crazy. But Kevin Hart is funny as hell, and that nigga or that brother, that Moore, because he sent me an email, Kevin Hart's a Moore. That Moore is getting money. He's getting money, and it's not all about money, but I'm saying he's getting money off of his creativity. See, it's not, the thing about making money and all of that, it's not about how much money Kevin Hart has, it's the fact that Kevin Hart is making and generating this money off of his creative talent, off of his minstrel show. Something that he created. He's generating millions of dollars off. He's generating more money than some companies make that have a conventional business that you gotta go to school and go to college for and all of that type of stuff. But Kevin Hart is crazy to a lot of motherfuckers. Let's take it, let's go to somebody else. Jim Carrey. That motherfucker's crazy. Hilarious as hell, sarcastic as hell. Crazy. Getting money. Eminem. Dude is crazy, but who's gonna out-rap him? You gotta be real with yourself. Who's gonna out-rap Eminem? But you like, man, that dude crazy as hell, man. Like, oh man. So you see, you got all of these people out here, and they may, you looking at them in hindsight, and you love them because you see all the other people that love them. But if you was their family members and probably knew him, you probably like, that nigga crazy as hell. You listening to him? Are you listening to her? Nicki Minaj, she crazy. That chick used to be gorgeous, and she changed her whole image and started putting up all this makeup on and started wearing costumes, and she got these dudes with tattoos behind her in rap videos and shit, and bald-headed motherfuckers with tattoos behind her, like they doing security for her, and she talking about she on the block and she bees in the trap and all of that. She's crazy for a woman, right? My average woman say, oh, she's crazy. She don't work at Wachovia. She don't work at Bank of America. She's not a lawyer. She's crazy. She's not a teacher. She's not your average job that a female would be. She's crazy. But Nicki Minaj is worth like $30 million though. You're like, well, see, you just all about money. You all materialistic, wrong whole type. And that's sad, man. I thought you was like past all of that, man. It's not about how much. You naming all these celebrities and people that's like all in the Matrix and stuff. And you're not naming like the mystical teachers, and I can't name those people because you don't care. You don't even know who those people. Most people that watch videos and YouTube don't even know who Melchizedek is. You don't even know who that is. So I gotta give you a message in a language that you understand. But at the same time, you're attracted to crazy because it's different. So you go to a normal world every day. You go to work in a normal world, in a conditioned world every day. Where you got to be to work on time. Where you got to go on a 15-minute break. By the time you find your time card and punch out for the 15-minute break, shit, it's about time to go back to work again. 15 minutes, quick. That's a normal world, You got to sit in traffic every morning, wake up at 6. You got to be to work at 8. So you live in a normal world. So when you get home, you looking for the crazy ass shit, the craziest shit you can find, because human beings are naturally escapists. We're escape artists. We love to get away from our mundane day-to-day life. So that's why these people are entertaining and they're making all of this money and these millions of dollars, because they're doing something that's looking pretty crazy. The guy that dresses up on the corner like a clown, the mascot, looks pretty crazy. But the mascot is obviously happy and is doing what he or she wants to do, even though they dressed up looking like a clown. So I guess what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, what do you do if your friends, family think you crazy just because you start studying astrology and metaphysics? You keep studying. And you remember, like, you don't accept the label. Crazy, what is crazy? Crazy is just a label. You never accept the label. And that's how you will swim out of a situation like that, because you never let one label you and you never identify with the label. You say, oh, okay, I'm crazy. Okay, that's just, that's from their perception, of course. You have to always remember that. So that's why I say this information is the best information out there, because at the end of the day, everybody has free will, and only astrology is going to teach you that. So they have a right to their perception. They see you as being crazy because they live in a normal world. But guess what? When some crazy people, or people that do, entertainers and people that are, up front type of people and in front of people, when they go into the normal world, like say for instance, they go try to work a job, that's crazy to them. Totally crazy. That's what you got to remember. Like, it might be normal to you, but that's crazy to them. So what really humans have to learn how to do, and it's very hard because we like to mimic and parakeet things. We have to become ourselves. You have to allow your children, if you're a parent watching this and you think your children are crazy because they watch this, you have to allow your children to learn their own lessons, because especially after the age of 13. Now, if they under 13, you as a parent got the right to do whatever the fuck you want to do. So honestly, like, I'm not on all that stuff where it's like you call the police because you got, spanked your child. I'm not on that. If they under the age of 13, you do whatever they can't watch YouTube, they can't watch metaphysics, that's fine. You have your right as a parent to do that. And you as a parent, you got the right to do whatever you want to do. However, when you study biology and solar biology, how a child develops, once a child turns 13, they're really an adult. You may not agree with that. I mean, that's not necessarily a part of Western society, but hell, they can make a baby. So why not? I was busting nuts at 12 years old. Some women, they having babies they're having periods and babies at 12 years old. So I look at it like they old enough to have a child. Why not teach them and show them what's out there in the real world, instead of blinding them with fairy tales? So if you think that your family thinks you crazy because you're studying this information, and you allow that to limit you, I say you're a punk. I say you're a coward. I say you're scared to continue to study the information because you're scared of peer pressure. And I say this information isn't for you anyway. That's why I'm saying that. I'm not here to try to change your mind. If you think Rob Hotep's crazy, that's fine. You go to another channel, but I know I have to put out these videos because there's a group of people that live their life off of this, and this is inspiration and motivation for a group of people, because this is Aquarian information. We live in the age of Pisces, and I'm trying to teach something that's Aquarian, so of course it's going to sound crazy and off the wall, but every day we wake up, we get closer to the age of Aquarius, and every day we wake up, Ram Hotep is going to become more and more right, and others that teach this type of information will become more and more right. This will become more and more of what's right. So if you are worried about being crazy from studying this type of information, you're either going to have to do it in secret and hide what you do, and that's going to limit your success in it, believe it or not, because you can't even come out and show the world what you're doing because you got to go hide and conceal shit. And that's going to fuck you up in the long run. So that's not even really kosher. That's not even really benefiting you. Like, why even study all this deep type of information if you got to go around hiding? And now I'm not saying go tell and go talk and try to convert people. This is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm into astrology. I mean, okay, maybe in a certain situation, I may be invited to an event where I know there's a bunch of secular people there and I know they ain't into astrology. Of course, I'm not going to go around talking about astrology and bragging about it. But I'm saying I'm not going to hide it. Like, they know me from YouTube. I'm not going to hide. And that's where I'm getting at. And if you feel like you need to do that, this information is not for you. You should stop watching the videos. You shouldn't meditate. If you think this information is too radical, you should be going back to church and you should get back into the normal world. I have to tell you these things, because we're not here in metaphysics, and those are people that teach it. You need to listen carefully. We're not here to convert people. We are messengers. We bring the message clear, and we allow people to make better decisions. What we really are supposed to be doing, we teach this information because we're supposed to be over all of the isms racism, sexism, classism. So we really are supposed to be able to meet a person, whether they're racist, sexist, or classist, and give them information to make a decision as to whether or not they want to continue to be like that or they want to change. That's your job. It's just to be able to give clear information so they can clearly see themselves. And then they can make a decision for themselves, not to convert them. You can only convert yourself mentally. So you can't go and give and be like, man, you need to get in this, or I'm putting pressure on you. Conversion is usually based on peer pressure. So it's not your job to do that, beloved. It's your job to show them both sides, to teach them how to make better decisions. You are a 720-degree student, which means that you want to show them 360 degrees of right as well as the 360 degrees of wrong. And you have a right to teach that in any format you want to teach, even if you want to become the wrong thing. See, you ain't never gonna hear this type of stuff in church. Even if you want to become the wrong thing to teach that lesson, it's your right to do that as a teacher. If you want to become a wino just to show people they shouldn't drink, then you have a right to do that. And that's how this information is. So like, you can't go out, you don't judge people that's in metaphysics. We're not on the standard of people that's in church and they gotta live a certain way. We are here to bring a message and to show you yourself clearly. And then our only other job after that is to continue to grow and change. So if your family thinks you're crazy, you're on the right path. Keep watching, keep listening. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this video down. I'm gonna leave you in Hotep. Namaste. Wadu. Peace.